Hello, I am back. I want y'all to get your book. Get your dimensional analysis book. Let's go to chapter 4. That's where it's going to start dimensional analysis. I want y'all to, before you start this video, to be sure that you have your known conversion sheet. The known conversion sheet will be in some of those activities in chapter 4 homework section. It has a PowerPoint and it has a help sheet. And at the end, you're going to have the conversion sheet. You need to keep the conversion sheet. The conversion sheet is what's going to get you through. You need this conversion sheet printed out, or you need to write them out or something, okay? So let's keep that in front of us as we do these. So dimensional analysis, it's just an analysis for simple math problems. Basically, a lot of it's word problems, but we have to know how to figure it out, okay? So what do we do with dimensional analysis? We're going to establish the answers unit of measure, and that will be given to us in the word problem. And just hang in with me. We will um, figure this out as we go, like our box on 4.1, summary of dimensional analysis steps. Establish the unit of measure, which I've already said, this is on page 56. Insert the given quantities. Everything in the problem is going to be given to us. We just have to know which order to put them in. Determine the necessary conversion factors. The conversion factors will go from this trusty little conversion sheet right here, so be sure that you have that. Calculate the answers. Critically evaluate the answers. And what does that critically evaluate answer mean? This is something as we go through medical math. I would get answers. Take somebody's working on math. Let's just think something that liquid Tylenol. Okay, if you have children, you know liquid Tylenol. Usually, you might give them a dropper or two, or you might give them like a little cup with maybe a couple of teaspoons in it or something. But if you come out with an answer that you're going to give them a whole cup of some kind of liquid medicine, would that be correct? Or if you're going to come out and you're going to give them 300 tablets in one dose, or 300 tablets period, that's like feeding them a meal of pills. You have to think about which, you have to critically evaluate that answer and say, does this answer make sense? If it doesn't make sense, then go back and look, because probably you've made a mistake. So let's just skip on down and let's start trying to work some problems. I think that kind of gets us more in how to do this. So let's go over to example 1 on page 58. A nurse takes the pulse of a client for 15 seconds and counts 18 beats. She must record the pulse in the client's chart in beats per minute. Calculate the client's pulse rate in beats per minute. So now there's a couple of things that problem has told us. All right. So what are we looking for? What are the things that we are looking for in this problem? We are looking for what? Beats per minute. But in this problem, you can say, like where it says 15 seconds for 18 beats. So you can write 15 seconds, 18 beats, 15 seconds, 18 beats, just like that. That's kind of like a sentence. So you know we're going to be using that in this problem. And we're looking for, what did it say we're looking for? Beats per minute. So we know we're looking for beats per minute. So we want to start, beats is what we're looking for. So we know that we have to start with beats. Where out of these two things do you see some beats? We see 18 beats to 15 seconds. This right here where it says beats per minute, we know we're looking for beats. So beats, we have to start with beats in this sentence. We cannot separate the 15 seconds and the 18 beats because that is one sentence. Okay, so just remember that in dimensional analysis, you cannot separate that. So we're going to start with 18 beats over 15 seconds. Now, we are wanting to go, like the problem is saying, we are wanting to go to beats per minute is what we want to wind up with. So seconds, where does our conversion for seconds, how many seconds are in 1 minute? Because we have got to do a conversion in there. It is on your little conversion sheet. If you don't know, 60 minutes I don't think we have there's 60 seconds and 1 minute. Hopefully we all know that, but we know 60 minutes is 1 hour too. So we would just do a conversion as it shows right there, 60 seconds to 1 minute. And now, do you see in our book, this is under step 3, they have crossed out seconds and seconds, just like an algebra problem. And what are we left with? We are left with, what are we left with? Beats and minute. So once we multiply everything across as it is showing us in where it says calculate the answer, we are going to multiply 18 beats times 60, and then on the bottom 15 times 1 minute. And after we do all our calculations of that, it's going to give us 72 beats per minute. Pretty simple if you stop and think about it. All right. So let's look at example 2. A 38-year-old man has a headache. He looks for the label on the bottle of acetaminophen to find the recommended dosage for adults is 650 milligrams. The tablets in the bottle contain 325 milligrams. Do you see the word? Let's go back and look at this problem together. 650 mg, that's milligrams. Then they wrote out the tablets 325 milligrams. That's the same thing. I mean, it's both of them are milligrams, okay? So how many tablets should the man take? So we need to establish the unit of measure. The question requires calculating the number of tablets that the man will take. So we are looking for tablets. So if we were to write our sentences, we would have sentences that look like this. And this is coming from the problem. We see that we have 650, pen is going out. Hang on a minute. We have 650 milligrams per dose. And then we have 1 tab is 325 milligrams. So we are wanting to know how many tablets should the man take. So we know that 1 tab, and these are the sentences that I would get from that right here. Let me just throw this down right here. 650 milligrams to 1 tab and per dose, 650 milligrams per dose and 1 tab, 325 milligrams. So if we are looking for tablets, we're going to start with tablets. So what in our problem says that we could start with tablets? We see 1 tab is 325. So you see that's how they wrote that. We know we're starting with tablets, so we write 1 tablet is 325 milligrams. And then the kicker with dimensional analysis is where it says 1 tablet is 325 milligrams. We know when we go up to the next thing, we have to do milligrams again. So what in our problem says milligrams? 650 milligrams per 1 dose. So once we multiply this all out, the answer is going to be 2 tablets. So just kind of look at that. With dimensional analysis, everything has to follow. Everything you have to follow everything. Okay, so if the bottom number, let's go on and do another one because the more of these we do, I think that this is a little more complex. Starting example 1. All right. So a coffee growing company makes a profit of $2 per pound of coffee beans picked. Coffee bean pickers can pick 1 ton of beans per day. How many days of picking are necessary for the company to make $100,000 profit? So what exactly are we wanting to know? Is how many days it's going to take to pick to make $100,000 profit? So what are the things that we see in our problem? We see $2 per pound. We have to leave that $2 per pound. We see 1 ton per day. We have to leave 1 ton per day. That is a sentence together. $2 per pound is a sentence, and we are looking for how many days to make $100,000. So if we start out, we will start out, we're looking for days. So we're going to start out with days. Okay. So 1 day to 1 ton. And do you see where we can, if we have to go with something else that has ton in it, do we have anything else that has ton? No, but we have something that has pound. So how are we going to get to that? So then our next thing is we have to use a conversion, 1 ton to 2,000 pounds. And then we see that we can use 1 pound to $2. Are you following how this is going? See, what's on the bottom has to match what's on the top. Okay. And then we see $2. And then we see times $100,000 because that's how many we're looking for, how many days to make $100,000. So that's what we have to end up with. So if you scratch out, like if you follow page 61, we can scratch out pounds, we can scratch out tons. So what do we have left? We have one day to make $100,000. And once we multiply that all out, it's going to give us 25 days. Okay. And I know some of y'all are sitting there thinking right now, because I've had this over and over and over. Oh, well, I can figure this out without doing dimensional analysis. Please don't. Let's stay with dimensional analysis because I promise you there's a rhyme or reason for us teaching like this, okay? There are other problems I want you to look at and really think about. There's practice dimensional analysis on page 66 and 67 that have, well, first of all, it's page 63 in your book. Answers will be on page 66 and 67. Pull your homework if you already have it printed out. Let's look at number 3. Okay. A cook uses 15 pounds of ground meat in each batch of spaghetti and meatballs. If the cook makes 3 batches of spaghetti and meatballs each day, how many pounds of meat does the cook use in 30 days? So, what are our sentences? We see 15 pounds per batch, right? So 15 pounds slash batch is going to be a sentence. I'm just going to write this one more time for y'all to look at how I would do this. 15 pounds per batch. Then we see 3 batches per day. And then we want to know how many pounds per 30 days. So these are how I would write this. 15 pounds per batch, 3 batches per day. How many pounds per 30 pounds? So if we're looking for pounds, we're going to start with which one? We're looking for pounds. So where do you see pounds? We see what? 15 pounds per batch. So it would be 15 pounds per batch. And I would scratch this out right here because I have used this sentence. So scratch that through. That sentence is gone. So where do we see the next batch? We see what? 3 batches per day. So we would set it up 3 batches per day. Do you see that? So we've used our 3 batches per day, which is the second thing. 15 pounds per batch. We used that one. Now we have 3 batches per day. Then, see that? Then, what else do we have? What's left? 30 days. So then we would multiply times 30. 30 days. And you don't have to put anything, but we're going to, when we go to cross out, we're going to cross everything out. We're going to cross out day, day. See, I crossed out day and day. Then we're going to cross out batches and batches. So we're left with how many pounds? Isn't that what we want to know? How many pounds? So once you multiply everything out, you should get 1,350 pounds. I ran out of room there. Okay, clear? All right. Let's take a look at one more on your homework. And like I said, y'all, if y'all are having trouble, then I want y'all to work more problems. Pick up the phone and call me. Okay, 2. Let's see which one we would like to work. How about the number 8, the winemaker one? Let me get a piece of paper here real quick. I'm not totally prepared for talking through all this, but let me see if I can find a piece of paper that I can write on the back. Real quick. All right, I think this will work. All right. So y'all got number 8 in front of you? All right. A winemaker can make 12 bottles of wine with 66 pounds of grape. So there's a sentence. What is our sentence? Would it be this? Be thinking about what you would write. 12 bottles per 66 pounds. Is that what you wrote for the first sentence? That's a sentence. These two cannot be separated. Okay. If the winemaker picks 540 pounds of grapes, how many bottles of wine can be made? Round to the nearest whole bottle. Okay. So we also have another sentence. Well, we need to know that he picks 540 pounds, and then we need to know how many bottles. Okay. So that's how I would write that to start with. Okay. You see it? That's how I would write it. So we want to start, we're looking for bottle. So where in the problem would we start? We see what? 12 bottles to what? 66 pounds, y'all. 66 pounds. I think I put 60 at the top. 66 pounds. So I would write it like that. 66 pounds. And then we have pounds on the bottom here. So what's going to have to go right here? If we have pounds here, then what are we going to go with here? Pounds, right? We have to go with pounds. What in this problem do we see pounds? 540 pounds, right? So we use this first one. We're going to use this second one, 540 pounds. So we scratch that out. Then we're through pretty much, y'all, because that 540 just be over 1. We're gonna X out our pounds, and what are we left with? If we X out our pounds, then we're left with bottles. And are we looking for bottles? Yes. So once we multiply this all out, we are going to get, this is what we get, 80 over 66. And that will equal 9818. And our problem says to round to the nearest whole bottle. So our answer is 98 bottles. Okay? All right. And like I said, I know somebody else can think, oh, I can figure this out the way. Don't. Let's just do a dimensional analysis away, and I promise you'll do better. But if you'll take this and you'll write what I call these as sentences, write them, and it'll kind of keep you straight. And then always write, like it says, round to the nearest tenth, round to the nearest whole number. Write that down so you don't get confused on that, okay? So the more you write, the better it's going to be for you. So take time. Work on that homework. I'm probably going to upload the homework answers on that you can see on Thursday after you complete your homework on Wednesday, just so you can see how I would work them. So y'all take care. Remember, call me if you're struggling. Okay? Don't hesitate. Thank you.